We have been on a journey for the last several years of advancing technology in the vending industry. Technology takes many shapes and forms, and there's a lot of questions that have arisen around that. There's a lot of experience that has been gained, and we're here to share some of that experience. We have a very experienced panel who offer different perspectives, and this is intended to be a discourse. This is not us trying to tell you what the world is like. It's what it's been like for us, and hopefully help you learn a little bit about some of the minefields and pitfalls. So as we look into this, I sometimes call this a funny thing happened on the way to my pot of gold. I think technology is viewed as a destination, as the pot of gold, especially in vending. And the terminology tends to focus on telemetry as the pot of gold. I think as we go through this session today, we hope to offer you a view into the various technologies that are available, the way they can be utilized together and independently, and hopefully give you some idea of a path that will assist you to your destination or to your pot of gold. I'm joined by some esteemed vending expertise, Doug Haddon, who is Director of Technologies for MEI. We have Stu Ryman, who is General Manager for DNR Vending in Rochester, Minnesota. We have Scott Meskin, who is President of Black Tie Services in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. And we have David Sowers, who is Director of Technology Solutions for Coca-Cola United. Three very different perspectives on their road to utilizing technology. And I think we'll offer a very well-rounded perspective for you as well, helping you to determine the right path forward. Lesson one, there is no magic bullet. Again, technology is seen oftentimes as a destination. If I use this thing, my life is going to be bliss. That's not reality. The reality is that you need to build the right kinds of processes. And so that means that lesson two is need efficient operations in order for technology to really begin to create greater benefit to your business. A famous technologist, Bill Gates, said that there are two rules. Rule number one, any technology used in a business is that automation applied to efficiency will magnify the efficiency. Rule number two is that automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. Now, I don't know how many have begun to understand that or see that in their own business, but we have, and so we're here to help inform and create the right kind of approach to that efficiency. Lesson three, there needs to be alignment of process, people, and automation technology. If that doesn't exist in balance, you are going to be dissatisfied with the result that you achieve. These are three rules or lessons that we've learned. To take that a step further, when you look at the convergence of those three, you have processes. They must be scripted. They must be disciplined. They must be efficient. Focusing in those areas, aligning those, then looking at the automation, the technology. What kind of technology do we need? Is it telemetry? Is it offline, online? Is it a combination? Is it software? Is it electronic locks? How do we determine what is the right technology for our business? It's based on what your goals and objectives are, your processes underpinning those, and then finally, and perhaps most importantly, the people in place to help make sure that those goals are attained. You don't have responsibilities clearly outlined for the initiatives. If you don't have accountability throughout the stakeholders, you're going to find less than that pot of gold that you had hoped for. So, as we start this discussion, and it really needs to be a discussion, we've got three very experienced technologists, vending experts who have learned the hard way in some cases. They'll share their successes as well as some of the pain points. We want to be able to have that discussion so that you learn. So with that, I'd like to ask Stu Ryman at DNR to share a little bit about his journey down the road of technology, the path that he has chosen, and some of the outcomes that he has experienced along the way.
All right, thanks, Cliff. And when I started using Easy Tracks, realized right away that we had a great and powerful tool, but how we were really underutilizing it at this point. I kind of used the analogy of, we'll go back to Cliff's on his exercise equipment. It's like joining the local athletic club. Just because you paid your membership and you paid all the money, you didn't lose any weight till you went in and actually used the tools that were provided there. And I think both Doug and Cliff will agree, our company was kind of the poster child for, we bought all this technology and it really wasn't working for us. And what we needed to do was appoint some dedication, get somebody dedicated to the project. And once we did that, the technology really started to pay off. And looking at our data, making sure that it was clean, the next thing it allowed us to do was to get into pre-kitting. And once we started that, we've seen a lot of benefits from sales lift to decreasing routes, cash accountability. So it was a tough road, but we finally got there. And if you're going to get in the game, I think it's get somebody dedicated to the project and you'll see the benefits from it.
Well, Scott, your journey was a little bit different. You have, I think, a story that may be familiar to many and very worthwhile to hear from you.
Well, we started with Easy Tracks. We were really just using it for meter readings. We later, got into dexing. Certainly saw the immediate cash accountability. Had a very difficult time getting to that item level data. Not knowing at all what was going into any of the machines. You sit back and you look at your business, and years ago when you started it, you knew what was in every machine. You knew what your drivers were doing, and you turn around and you realize, you really don't know what's in anything. So, trying to take over that again and make those decisions on what goes into those machines was very important to me. So getting to that item level is certainly, the biggest goal, and it is a project that goes on every day. This is not just, let's get it all done and now we've got it done. It's a project that you have to be dedicated to keep it going, to make sure you're getting that data correct, that you're following up and making changes and doing all the right things to make it happen, which is something that we are probably about 50% there in our goal to be 100%.
Scott, where are you relative to, in that roadmap toward your destination? How far along that road do you believe you are?
About 50%.
50% there?
Yeah, we've got about half of our routes pre-kitted, item level. Matter of fact, when I get back, we'll have 2 more routes that we'll turn on and start to pre-kit, which will be maybe about 60% by the end of next week.
So if you had one thing that you could do over again from the beginning, what would perhaps that be as you launched into the project?
Oh my God, any one thing. That's a tough one. There's so many things. I did everything out of order. I didn't do anything the way MEI suggested that I do it, which is indicative of my whole life. But I certainly, you guys have certainly laid out the steps to take. And to do anything over again, I would have followed those steps a little closer, I think. I kind of rushed into telemetry. Not that I'm sorry I did, but there's a lot of steps that have to be done before telemetry. That's probably one of the things I would have slowed down a little bit on, maybe.
Yeah. David, would you care to describe your operation and the approach that you took to technology? Now, in your role as the person focused on bringing technology into the business in the appropriate way, perhaps you have a unique perspective there. Can you tell us or share a little bit about how you approached that and took that to your business?
So we've actually got two paths. In Birmingham, we own a snack business. We run 38 routes. So the path there was last year at this time, we were running another software system. We were running the EasyTrack Advanced for all of our full-service vending, and we wanted to bring them up on EasyTrack's core. So we swapped out the software last year. We started running our business with that software. I think there's a 5-step process, and we have gone through all 5 steps in less than a year to bring technology on. This last month we started dexing the snack machines, pre-kitting. We've installed Lightspeed. We are installing 6,100 telemetry devices in all of our machines in Birmingham, whether it be daisy chained to each other or standalone. So the path in Birmingham has been a quick one, but along the way, the other path is we're installing telemetry in all of our full-service machines in every market. We started with a pilot in 2008 in Chattanooga with 1 route and 1 driver. It was a huge success, improved our efficiencies by 25%. We had a route that typically ran 5 days a week. At the end of the trial, we were running 3.5 days and selling the same amount of cases. Reduced inventory on trucks, all those things that you look for to extract cost out of your operation. So we decided to go really fast and do this across all of our markets. Along the way, we had to switch from VMSL, which was our current software for predictive and online, to MEI because they closed their commercial operations. And 1 route, 250 machines, the best driver you have, everything looked great. When we implemented the rest of Chattanooga, the other 10 routes, not the best drivers, no processes in place. We then left there and were scratching our head and wondering why this wasn't working like we'd planned it to work with that 1 route. We then went to Baton Rouge, 18 routes there, completely put that market online, 100% telemetry, and we were just falling apart. The business was cratering. I agree with what Bill Gates says. If you don't have good processes in place, technology makes your business worse faster, and that was what was happening. So after installing 3 markets completely online, we had an opportunity the back half of last year to sit down and back up and look at what we had done. Would we do it differently? How would we do it differently? And what we realized was 2 things are really important. Is change management with the people that are out there doing the work and documenting the processes and then teaching what those processes are. So we didn't tell our drivers what we were doing, why we were doing it, how it was going to affect them, and what the benefit was either. So they had been doing these things for a long time, and we tried to switch their process. I think a change management book says people have to hear something 7 times before it's so. So what we learned is you have to communicate early and often with your drivers. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? How is it going to affect them? And then what's the benefit? So we put a whole training program together. We've actually built a little sticker that we're putting in the machines. We use an acronym called DRIVE, Driver Requirements for Intelligent Vending Execution. There's a 7-step process, so when they open that door, the 7 things that are most important that they have to do to make sure that telemetry works and that the software system works, we're making sure that's done. So we've incorporated that into our new rollout. And I think 2 weeks ago, we brought a market up over 700 telemetry devices in 4 days. This week, I haven't gotten an update today, but I would imagine we're through already in our other market in Mississippi. We'll finish completely deploying all 17 markets by the first quarter of 2013. The benefits, I mean, we believe there was a great return based on the model we ran when we did the test route. It wasn't quite at the greater than 150% return, but it was greater than 130% return. So it's great. The software is great. MEI has been with us all along the way. There's been a lot of bumps, but we've walked side by side. They've been there for us. We thought the software there was something wrong with it, and what was really wrong was the processes and what the drivers were doing. So if you follow the journey, or if you're planning on this journey, one thing I would say is change management and document the processes and train your people.